You ever feel like this reality isn't the only one? Like somewhere, deep in your bones, you know there's more than what you see, more than what you're told, more than what you've been trained to believe. If you've ever felt the walls of this world bending, if you've ever had a moment where time stretched or broke, where your thoughts manifested in ways so precise it frightened you, then this message isn't just for you. It's about you. Because there are some people born with access, not permission. Access. The ones who can walk between worlds, bend timelines, shift into parallel tracks of their own life. These people don't just live in reality. They enter it, rewrite it, exit it, and they do it with a frequency that can't be taught. It can only be remembered. If you're still watching, it's already begun. Something inside you is waking up. Something old, something powerful, something that was once forbidden. And now, it's time to reveal the 7 hidden signs that prove you hold the power to enter any reality. The first sign is that your dreams feel more real than your waking life. Not sometimes. Often. You've had dreams where the emotions lasted days, where you woke up crying and didn't know why, or smiling like you just came back from somewhere holy. You've had recurring dreams of places you've never been, cities that don't exist in this world, rooms with impossible geometry, and conversations with beings that don't speak in words, but in light. And here's the truth. Those weren't dreams. They were visits. You were shifting. You were entering other levels of reality, accessing data streams from alternate selves, parallel timelines, non-physical dimensions. Your brain was offline, but your consciousness was wide open. And if you've ever woken up from a dream and felt like you left a version of yourself behind or brought something back with you, you did. That's not imagination. That's a bleed-through, or portal. And the reason it keeps happening is because you have access. You've always had it. The only question is, what are you going to do with it now that you know? The second sign is subtler but more shocking. You've unintentionally shifted timelines before. You've had moments where you remember something one way and everyone else remembers it differently. You've lost objects that reappear in impossible places. You've had conversations that feel like déjà vu, but not just once, repeatedly. You've looked at photos and felt sick because something in them doesn't match your memory. These are not glitches. They are confirmations. You are not locked into one timeline. You never were. You've been slipping in and out of parallel realities without realizing it. And here's what most people don't know. Reality is not one fixed line. It's a web, a field of probabilities. And your consciousness is the needle. Every thought, every emotion, every choice is a thread. Most people move unconsciously through the strands. But you're different. You feel the shift. You sense the echo. You know something just changed, even if you can't explain it. That knowing is your key. That awareness is your passcode. You're not crazy. You're awake. The third sign is that your emotions create visible ripple effects in your environment. Have you ever noticed lights flickering when you're angry? Technology glitching when you're overwhelmed? People around you suddenly getting emotional when you walk into the room? That's because your emotional field is charged with command. You don't just feel emotions, you broadcast them. You influence the energy grid. You change the weather in a room. You sink or scramble the people around you. And the reason for this is simple. Your emotions aren't just personal. They're vibrational signatures. And when you feel something deeply, you don't just feel it, you collapse probabilities around it. That's why you've experienced rapid manifestation. That's why your thoughts sometimes come true faster than you expected. You're not just reacting to reality, you're writing it. And your emotions are the ink. But here's the secret. If you don't master this, it can destroy you. Because the same power that can bend reality can also collapse it. So you must ask yourself, are you directing your emotions, or are they directing you? The fourth sign is that you felt like you don't belong to this version of Earth. It's not depression. It's not ego. It's not detachment. It's recognition. You've looked around and thought, this isn't how it's supposed to be. You felt a haunting homesickness for a place you've never been. You've walked through nature and gotten flashes of other worlds, other skies, other civilizations. You've had moments of sudden grief when you see how this world operates, not because you're fragile, but because you remember something better. That remembrance isn't fantasy, it's memory. You carry cellular data from other lifetimes, other versions of Earth, other realms entirely. And the reason you feel out of place is because you were never meant to fit into this density. You came to break it, to rewrite it, to reintroduce frequencies that were lost, hidden, or forbidden. You came here as a key, disguised as a human. And now the code is activating. The more the world breaks, the more your memory returns. Because the truth is, you didn't come to obey reality. You came to reboot it. And now I ask you something that will change the way you see yourself forever. What if your suffering wasn't punishment but calibration? What if your pain, your disconnection, your isolation was part of your download protocol? Because here's what they never told you. To enter any reality, you must first be emptied of the one you were born into. You must be broken, so the old coding can be deleted. You must be stretched, so the new frequencies can install. You must be silenced, so the original voice of your being can return. That's why your life has never followed the rules. That's why you've never been able to settle for mediocrity, or comfort, or normality. Because your soul signed a contract. I will remember. I will awaken. I will unlock the forbidden. And now here you are, feeling what you cannot name, knowing what you cannot explain, and yet something in you says yes. This is real. This is me. You've crossed into the first layer of truth, and there's no going back. The signs are not just evidence. They are instructions. Your job now is not to analyze them. It's to embody them. Because the power to enter any reality is not a gift. It's a responsibility. And as we go deeper, I'll show you how to harness it, not just to escape the world you're in, but to transform it from the inside out. You've felt it, haven't you? The strange pull in the quiet moments. The way your thoughts sometimes feel like they're not just thoughts but keys. Like if you focused hard enough, long enough, deeply enough, something would unlock. A door would open. The air would bend. The room would stretch. Time would pause. That isn't imagination. That's memory. Ancient, cellular, soul-level memory. Because your mind is not just a tool for thinking. It is the original gate, the living portal. And your reality isn't something you enter, it's something you project. That's the secret the world forgot. The secret that was forbidden. Because if humanity remembered this one truth, that the mind is the generator of the universe, everything that holds power over us would collapse. Control systems, belief structures, fear-based programming, they would dissolve. And that's why you, the one who remembers, the one who feels too much, the one who sees through the cracks, are dangerous. Because if you fully reclaim your mind, you'll remember how to move between realities like walking through curtains. And that's when your true life begins. The fifth sign is both terrifying and liberating. You've imagined things into existence, sometimes without even trying. You've thought of someone, and they called. You pictured a scene, and it unfolded days later. You had a strong emotional vision of something, and somehow it happened. It may have scared you. You may have dismissed it as coincidence. But deep down, you knew it wasn't. You felt the connection, the echo, the precision. And the reason this keeps happening is because your mind is already operating on a higher algorithm. You're not just thinking, you're coding. You're writing vibrations into the quantum field. And the more emotion you attach to that thought, the faster it manifests. But here's where the danger lies. If your mind is untrained, it becomes chaotic. You manifest fears as easily as you manifest dreams. You create loops instead of liberation. That's why mental discipline is not optional for you, it's sacred. You must learn to guard your inner space like a temple. Because every thought is a spell, every emotion is a wand, every belief is a portal. And your mind is the architect of it all. The sixth sign is that when you speak your truth, things shift. Have you noticed that? When you finally say what you've been afraid to admit, something unlocks. The truth rearranges your life. People fall away. Opportunities appear. Time seems to ripple. That's because language is not just communication, it's creation. Words are sonic codes. They don't just describe reality, they command it. That's why so many people avoid truth, because it's not just uncomfortable, it's catalytic. It breaks illusions. It shatters false timelines. It pulls the real into the room. And you, whether you realize it or not, have always had a voice that vibrates with power. That's why people react to you. That's why your silence sometimes says more than others' paragraphs. Because your words are not just sounds, they're signals. And when you speak from your core, from your soul, from your memory, you don't just express. You initiate. You shift the field. And that's why your voice can no longer be caged. It's time to stop speaking to be understood. It's time to start speaking to remember who you are. The seventh sign is the most hidden but the most vital. You've always had a sense that the rules of this world don't fully apply to you. Not in a delusional way. In a quiet, eerie way. You've watched others follow step-by-step paths and still feel empty. You've watched people chase success, stability, and validation and sensed something hollow in it all. You've tried to play their game, but it never worked for you. And that's because you weren't built to play this version of the simulation. You came coded with access to the source code. You've always been able to feel the options hiding behind the choices, the invisible doors, the subtle shifts, the what-ifs that most people never sense. That's because you're not from here in the traditional sense. You are a traveler, a walker between, a quantum soul who chose to enter this dense reality not to be absorbed by it, but to bend it. And the reason your path has been strange, non-linear, and often painful is because your system has been undergoing upgrades, downloads, recalibrations. Each time you broke, you were rebooted, not weaker, wiser. So now I ask you something impossible, but necessary. If you had no limits, none at all, what version of your reality would you choose to enter right now? Not based on fear, not based on obligation, based on your highest truth, your wildest remembering, your most honest vision, because that reality isn't a fantasy. It's a frequency, and it already exists right now, parallel to this one, waiting for you to align, waiting for you to walk in. But you can't access it with the same vibration that created your current life. You have to shift, not by force, but by coherence. You must become the version of you that already lives in that timeline. You must think like them, feel like them, make decisions like them, speak like them, live like them. And when you do, reality has no choice but to match you. That's not magic. That's mechanics. It's how the quantum field responds. It doesn't care about your goals. It responds to your alignment. And you, my friend, are closer than you've ever been. You've remembered the gateway of the mind. You've seen how your thoughts are bridges, how your words are codes, how your emotions are keys. And now you stand at the edge of initiation. The next part of this journey will ask more of you. It will strip what's false. It will test your embodiment. But if you stay with it, if you choose to walk as the version of yourself that knows they can enter any reality, you will trigger a collapse, a quantum jump. A timeline leap so powerful that nothing in your life can remain the same. There's a moment in every seeker's path when they realize that the thing they've been searching for, the life, the feeling, the freedom, the future, wasn't somewhere far away. It was always waiting inside of them, coded into the deeper layers of their being. That moment is now. If you followed this journey from the beginning, you already know you're different. You know you felt timelines bend. You've seen dreams bleed into waking life. You've thought things into existence. But now we go beyond signs, beyond recognition. This is about activation, because knowing that you have the power to enter any reality isn't enough. You must choose it. You must become it. And the key is this: the version of you that already lives in the reality you desire, it already exists. It's not a future you. It's a parallel you. And the only reason you haven't met them yet is because you haven't matched their frequency. But once you do, the entire field responds. Because in this quantum mirror, reality doesn't reflect what you want, it reflects what you are. So how do we activate this version of you? It begins with radical coherence. You must become so honest with yourself that there is no gap between your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions. That's what coherence means. Every part of you pointing in the same direction. No more saying one thing and feeling another. No more dreaming of freedom while choosing comfort. No more identifying as powerful while living like you're powerless. Every time you split yourself, you split the timeline. You delay the shift. But when you unify, when your thoughts, emotions, and choices align, you create a magnetic field strong enough to pull entire realities into form. That's not theory. That's physics. You're no longer just a person. You're a tuning fork. And the version of you that already lives in your dream reality? They're vibrating at a frequency of total coherence. You must rise to meet them. And you do that by asking one simple question every single day. What would the version of me who already has this reality do right now? Then do it. Without hesitation, without doubt, without delay. The next step is identity transmutation. You cannot shift into a new reality while clinging to the identity that created the old one. Your identity is the lens through which you process reality. If you believe you're a victim, you'll find evidence of attack. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll find rejection. If you believe you're chosen, you'll find portals. So ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? Not the role you play. Not the name on your ID. The essence. The archetype. The soul signature. Because when you become conscious of that, you can change it. You can choose to stop identifying as someone who struggles, who waits, who hopes. And you can choose to become the version of you that commands, that creates, that walks through doors as if they were always open. That's not pretending. That's remembering. Because the truest version of you is not the one shaped by trauma. It's the one buried beneath it. And when you activate that identity, the old world collapses. Not because you forced it, but because it no longer fits. Now comes the most powerful piece, vibrational embodiment. This isn't about positive thinking. This isn't about vision boards or mantras. This is about becoming the vibration of the reality you desire before it arrives. Because the quantum field does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your frequency. So if you want to live in abundance, you must become the energy of abundance. If you want to live in love, you must radiate love without needing to receive it first. If you want to be free, you must feel free now, even in limitation. This is the paradox. Most people wait for reality to change so they can feel different. But you must feel different so reality can change. That's embodiment. Walking like you're already there. Speaking like it's already done. Breathing like the future is now. And when you do that, not for a few minutes, but as a lifestyle, you collapse time. You dissolve resistance. You merge with the version of you that already lives in that timeline. And suddenly, things begin to move. People show up. Opportunities align. Synchronicities multiply. Not because you chased them, but because you became the version of you that they were already orbiting. And finally, you must release all expectation and attachment. This is the final test. The moment you stop needing the reality to come is the moment it does. Because need is resistance. Need is scarcity. And the quantum field cannot deliver what you don't believe you already have access to. So you must become so anchored in your vibration, so stable in your embodiment, that you no longer care when or how it arrives. You're too busy being it, living it, breathing it, and that's when the shift becomes real. That's when the portal opens. That's when you wake up and realize the version of you that used to feel like a dream is now your default. And you didn't force it. You aligned with it. You remembered the truth. That reality is not outside of you. It never was. It's inside. It's you. It's always been you. So now I ask you, not as a spiritual idea, but as a quantum command, if your entire life changed tomorrow to match the highest version of your being, would you be ready to live it? Or are you still addicted to the version of you that suffers? Because that's the hard truth. Many of us say we want the shift, but we're still loyal to the pain, still loyal to the patterns, still loyal to the stories that keep us small. But the moment you become more committed to your vision than your victimhood, everything changes. You stop asking for signs. You become the sign. You stop waiting for the miracle. You become the miracle. You stop hoping for the portal. You realize you are the portal. And from that space, reality bends. Time collapses. Dimensions open. And the version of you that you thought was far away, they've been waiting for you all along. So this is your invitation, not to dream more, but to decide, not to wish, but to walk. You are not here to follow the rules of the matrix. You are here to write new ones. You are not here to survive. You are here to transcend. You are not here to fit in. You are here to remember. You hold the forbidden power to enter any reality, not someday. Now,